They're still on store shelves. They look normal. They even have health claims on the packaging. But the truth is, these 6 foods could quietly be damaging your body, weakening your immune system, or worse, compromising your ability to survive when it counts most. These aren't exotic or obscure products. They're items millions of people buy every week without thinking twice. But preppers know better. If you're building a smart, resilient food supply, these are the 6 foods you need to ban from your pantry, starting today. We're not just talking about junk food. We're exposing hidden threats disguised as everyday staples. Think one of these might already be in your kitchen? Hit that subscribe button. This channel tells you what others won't. Number 1. Canned soups loaded with sodium and preservatives. At first glance, canned soups seem like a smart survival food. Long shelf life, quick prep, and comforting in a crisis. But dig deeper, and you'll realize they might be one of the most dangerous safe foods lurking in your prepper stash. The issue isn't just about salt. It's about how much salt. Some popular brands pack over 1,000 milligrams of sodium per serving, and the average can hold 2 servings or more. That means you're swallowing nearly your entire daily sodium limit in one sitting. High sodium intake isn't just bad for your heart and blood pressure. It's a recipe for dehydration, especially dangerous in emergency scenarios where clean water might be limited. But that's just the start. Canned soups are also packed with chemical preservatives like MSG, potassium chloride, and synthetic flavor enhancers to keep them shelf-stable and addictive. These additives can trigger headaches, dizziness, and digestive issues, symptoms you don't want to deal with during a crisis. And then there's the quality of the actual ingredients. A chicken noodle soup might contain barely any real chicken. What you're really paying for is salt water, cornstarch, artificial flavors, and a few shredded vegetables. In prepping, every ounce counts, and this stuff is dead weight nutritionally. So what's the smart move? Build your own emergency soup base with dehydrated vegetables, dry bouillon, low sodium, and vacuum-sealed proteins like freeze-dried chicken. These ingredients store just as long, if not longer, but give you real control over what's going into your body. You can even pre-mix them into portioned bags for fast use. Bonus, they take up less space and deliver more actual nutrition per calorie. The bottom line is this: canned soup is marketed as comfort food, but it's really a sodium bomb. Number 2, breakfast cereals disguised as healthy. They sit on the shelf in boxes plastered with words like whole grain, heart healthy, immune support, and fortified with vitamins. But don't be fooled, most breakfasty cereals are nothing more than glorified dessert in a box, especially the ones marketed as healthy. Flip the box over and look at the label. You'll often find 12 to 18 grams of sugar per serving. And let's be honest, nobody eats just one serving. Combine that with refined grains, artificial coloring, flavor enhancers, and preservatives, and what you're actually eating is a chemical cocktail designed to spike your blood sugar and leave you crashing hours later. In survival situations, or during high-stress periods, that kind of metabolic roller coaster is the last thing you want. But even more dangerous is the illusion of safety. Because it's not neon-colored like a kid's cereal, many adults assume these cereals are smart prepper choices. But guess what? Sugar doesn't just rot teeth and mess with energy. It suppresses immune function, increases inflammation, and makes it harder for your body to cope with stress. And if you're stockpiling these cereals as part of a food supply, there's another kicker. They don't store as well as you think. Cereals with added fats or sugars go rancid faster than simple staples like oats or rice, and they attract pantry pests due to the sugary coating. That means your go-to breakfast could be a moldy, stale liability when you finally need it. The smarter move? Store bulk rolled oats, steel-cut oats, or quinoa, foods that are inexpensive, long-lasting, and adaptable. You can dress them up with honey, dried fruit. Number 3, shelf-stable cheese. Products when you see the word cheese on a package that doesn't require refrigeration, your prepper instincts should immediately go on high alert. We're talking about those bright orange slices individually, wrapped in plastic, those spreadable cheese tubs, and those blocks of cheese product that claim to last months or even years on a shelf. Here's the harsh truth. Most shelf-stable cheese isn't real cheese at all. It's a processed blend of milk byproducts, oil, salt, preservatives, and artificial flavoring. In fact, the FDA doesn't even allow many of these items to be labeled simply cheese. That's why they're often called cheese food or cheese product. These items are engineered more for shelf life than sustenance, and that should raise a red flag if you're prepping for serious emergencies. When you're in a survival situation, every food you consume should provide real value, nutritionally dense, energy-sustaining, and free of ingredients that strain your body. Shelf-stable cheese products fail on all fronts. They're packed with sodium, hydrogenated oils, emulsifiers, and food dyes that provide minimal nutritional benefit and increase the risk of long-term health issues like inflammation, high blood pressure, and digestive distress. And let's talk about storage integrity. Sure, they last a while, but they don't last forever. They're extremely sensitive to heat fluctuations, meaning a warm pantry or a car bug-out bag can easily turn that sealed cheese block into a bubbling, foul-smelling mess long before the expiration date. So what's the smart prepper alternative? Look to freeze-dried cheeses or hard cheeses like Parmesan, wax-sealed cheddar, or Gouda that have been aged and properly preserved. These real cheese. Number 4. Healthy. Plant-based meats have exploded in popularity, marketed as the perfect blend of health, sustainability, and modern innovation. But here's the harsh reality. Many of these so-called healthy alternatives are ultra-processed food products loaded with chemicals, sodium, and industrial oils, and they have no place in a serious prepper's pantry. Let's start with the ingredients list. Most plant-based meats, especially the burger patties, nuggets, and sausages, are made from processed soy protein, pea protein isolate, canola oil, methyl cellulose, which is literally a type of laxative, artificial coloring, and a cocktail of lab-made flavors and binders. That's not food. That's food simulation. Sure, they may contain some protein, but it comes with a massive side of inflammation-triggering additives, preservatives, and sodium levels that rival canned soup. Some patties pack over 450 milligrams of sodium per serving, and who eats just one? Now ask yourself, in a survival scenario where water may be scarce and your body is under stress, do you really want to fuel yourself with something your digestive system can barely recognize? But here's what's even more dangerous: the illusion of health. Because it says plant-based or vegan, many assume it's clean, natural, or even ideal for prepping. The truth is, these products are designed to mimic the texture and taste of meat, not to nourish you. They're Frankenstein foods built in labs, not farms. And in the context of long-term food storage, they're a nightmare. Most plant-based meats require freezer storage, making them worthless in a grid-down situation or during a prolonged power outage. And shelf-stable versions, packed with even more preservatives and questionable stabilizers that lose nutritional integrity over time. Want a real solution? Focus on legumes like number 5, flavored instant oatmeal. Flavored instant oatmeal packets are often seen as a warm, cozy, and seemingly healthy breakfast option, perfect for emergencies, right? Wrong. These brightly colored packets might feel like a comforting addition to your food stash, but they're actually one of the worst prepping choices disguised as health food. Why? Because they're loaded with added sugars, artificial flavors, synthetic vitamins, and sodium, turning what should be a wholesome grain into a shelf-stable dessert. A single packet can have 12 to 18 grams of sugar, often from high-fructose corn syrup or other cheap sweeteners. That's nearly as much sugar as a candy bar, and remember, one packet isn't filling. Most people eat 2 or 3, compounding the sugar spike. And let's talk about the portion size. A standard packet contains less than half a cup of actual oats. That means you're paying more for the added sugar and flavoring than for the grain itself. Nutritionally, this leaves you with a quick energy burst followed by a crash. Exactly what you want to avoid in a high-stress survival setting where sustained energy is everything. Preppers need stable blood sugar, long-lasting satiety, and food that nourishes, not just fills. Another issue? Shelf life. While oats themselves can last years when stored properly, those little flavored packets degrade faster due to the additives and oils mixed in with the flavorings. The moisture-attracting sugars and powdered fruit bits shorten the real shelf life dramatically. In other words, they don't store as well as plain oats, and they lose nutritional value over time. A better, smarter prepper strategy? Buy plain, rolled oats in bulk, store them in Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, and add your own flavor when you're ready to eat. Use honey, cinnamon, powdered milk, dehydrated fruits, or nut butters. Ingredients you can also stockpile with more flexibility and far better control. Not only will you save money, you'll also avoid number 6, bottled salad. Bottled salad dressings may seem like a harmless grocery store staple, but they're one of the most overlooked nutritional landmines on the shelf, and a terrible choice for any long-term food storage strategy. These seemingly innocent condiments are marketed as heart-healthy, organic, or low-fat, but once you read the label, you'll realize most of them are chemical cocktails disguised as something nutritious. The majority are made with cheap industrial seed oils like soybean or canola oil, which are highly processed and pro-inflammatory. Combine that with added sugars, preservatives like EDTA, artificial flavors, food dyes, thickeners, and emulsifiers, and you're left with a bottle of synthetic sludge that does more harm than good. One serving of store-bought ranch or honey mustard dressing can contain up to 12 grams of fat and 8 grams of sugar, and let's be real, nobody ever sticks to the 2-tablespoon serving size. In survival scenarios, where clean, energy-dense food is critical, dumping spoonfuls of sugar oil emulsion onto your meals is a terrible use of calories and storage space. Even worse, these dressings don't store as well as they claim. Once opened, they need refrigeration, and many go rancid faster than expected, especially those with dairy or egg-based emulsifiers. If the grid goes down and your fridge fails, that bottle of creamy Italian becomes a biological hazard within days. Preppers need food that lasts, fuels the body, and doesn't turn toxic when unrefrigerated. The smarter alternative? DIY dressing kits. Stock ingredients like olive oil, apple cider vinegar, mustard powder, lemon juice powder, dried herbs, and spices, all of which are shelf-stable and multi-purpose. With these, you can mix your own fresh, healthier dressings in seconds when you actually need them. You control the fat, salt, sugar, and portions. Plus, these ingredients serve multiple uses in cooking and food preservation. So there you have it. 6 everyday foods that might look harmless on the shelf, but could quietly sabotage your health, your preparedness, and your wallet. These aren't rare ingredients or exotic products. They're found in almost every kitchen, hiding behind clever labels and convenience traps. But as a smart prepper, you now know better. In a crisis, your food should be fuel, not filler. It should strengthen you, not spike your blood sugar, drain your energy, or put you at risk. The choices you make today determine how well you'll survive tomorrow. If even one of these items surprised you, smash that like button. Drop a comment below which of these is getting kicked out of your pantry tonight, and make sure to subscribe, because in a world of deception, you need someone telling you the raw, unfiltered truth. Stay sharp, stay stocked. We'll see you in the next one.